All right, my presentation was on repeated reading. We're going to learn all about what repeated reading is about. So, what is repeated reading? Repeated reading, and where did it come from? Repeated reading was a specific method proposed by S.J. Samuels to help decode ultimacy for struggling readers. What it simply does is you have a passage, provide that child with a passage of anywhere from 50 to 200 words, and repeat it until they reach a certain level of accomplishment. So one of my best ideas is you give them a passage that they may like, especially in high school. Give them a passage about Fortnite, about how kids are obsessed with it, and then have them reread it. More than likely, that kid will probably get that reading within the allotted time. So that's a good example of like choosing the passage. Make sure you understand where their reading level is, and then try to get an article of interest to them so they will have some devotion, some motivation to read it, especially at the older age groups. Why repeated reading? Readers have to be able to decode without thinking about decoding. We only have so much space to think in our brains. The more cognitive space devoted to figuring out words, the less available to grasp the actual meaning of the text. So this repeated reading really focuses on a sole skill of getting accuracy and fluency in your reading. What are some ways you could use repeated reading in your classroom? You could use audio recordings and then have students make their own recordings and compare like their recordings to the actual recording that was provided to them. Echo reading, you can do this repeating with the teacher or even repeating with a partner. Partner read short stories or passages, have one partner read the story, read a small part of the story, and then the next partner read it. And then they can help one another out with the reading and being able to peer evaluate one another's success on reading that passage. And then you have radio reading, in which students can work with scripts. What is the outcome? Is repeated reading successful? Repeated reading usually results in a better reading performance because kids are repeating. Repetition, one of the things I've learned is repetition is one of the best things to really master things, especially in sports. Shooting 100, 200 shots a day, you're probably going to get better at shooting basketball shots because you're repeating it. Just similar to this is repeated reading, in which you're repeating over and over again your reading. So to gain, again, fluency, and it also can help with comprehension because if the child is understanding what he or she is reading, then he or she may be able to answer comprehension questions related to that passage, which you're almost killing two birds with one stone. But again, in the article, it suggested really focus on the repeated reading, and then you can eventually phase in the comprehension aspect of that over time. And in terms of special education, it has been proven to work in the special education and also works in the general education form. Results, again, have found that it does work in both areas. Just some final tips on repeated reading. Studies suggest a minimum of 3 redos and then just move on to another text. It could be the child may not be interested in the text or the text may be at too high of a reading level. So you can adjust as you go down. Again, I didn't put it on here, but Read-A-Lot and ReadWorks are very good places to find these kinds of passages in which you can adjust those passage levels to their reading level and to like a grade level of their choosing, and then you can give different kids in your room different reading levels of the same article, but the difficulty level is varying depending on the child's reading level. And then again, they should between 50 and 200 words, and then shorter text for students with more challenges, and start out small and work your way up. Reading should be focused on fluency and should be at a student's frustration level. And then, as I said, you can use comprehension, but again, just focus on them mastering the reading first and then moving on. It is, again, recommended to do paired reading where students partner up and take turns reading. With that said, that's our wrap. That's the end. Thank you for listening and have a wonderful day.